Rodniks are humming in the dead of the night. Electric bills climbing, ain't feeling right. Hash rates dropping, profits thin as air. I'm digging for gold, but there's none down there. I got the crypto mining blues, feeling like I just can't choose. But there's a spark in the AI glow. Rent my computer, let the profits grow. Once I was king with my GPUs, now I'm stuck paying the power dues. Every coin I mine feels heavier than lead, but I hear whispers of a future ahead. I got the crypto mining blues, feeling like I just can't lose. Switch my power to the AI flow, turn this burden into a glow. I see the light, it's flickering on. AI's calling my machines to respond. No more digging in the blockchain dirt. This pivot might just heal the hurt. I got the crypto mining blues, but I'm stepping in brand new shoes. The AI train's on a steady roll, gonna recompute and regain control.
I was digging deep in the digital ground, hoping for treasure, but nothing was found. The rigs were buzzing, the heat was real, electric bills biting like a thief who steals. Crypto mining blues got me feeling low. The profits are gone, where did they go? But there's a light shining through the haze. Renting compute might just save my day. I stacked up GPUs, thought I'd strike it rich, but the market's a beast with a wicked glitch. Hash rates climbing, rewards falling flat. Chasing that coin, I'm chasing a cat. Crypto mining blues got me feeling low. The profits are gone, where did they go? But there's a light shining through the haze. Renting compute might just save my day. AI knocking, it's a brand new game, whispering sweet that it knows my name. Ran out the power, let it learn and dream. A smarter hustle, a brand new scheme. Now my GPUs hum a different tune, training models under the cyber moon. No more digging, no more feudal race, just AI visions lighting up the space. Crypto mining blues got me feeling low. The profits are gone, where did they go? But there's a light shining through the haze. Renting compute might just save my days. Now my GPUs hum a different tune, training models under the cyber moon. No more digging, the space.
Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to the voltage drop. I had some fun with ChatGPT today. Decided I would ask, hey, what's a good name for a stream? And they had that one, and I thought it sounded cool. So decided I would use it. Welcome, everybody. Appreciate you all being here. If any of DJ, if you want to come on, let me know. I can shoot you an invite. I do have somebody coming on in a little bit. We will it'll be a surprise. It'll be a surprise. Let's see who's here. We got Steven Cicero, Son of a Rabbit, Frogman, Dan Bulmer, Northern Crypto and Tech. Let's see who else. Remington, DJ, Integra Guy 04, not to be confused with Integra Guy 041. Chris Stewart. I think I already said Remington, and Black Hat Team getting in just under the wire. Let's see. Steven sort of says, can you explain how a country can seize assets from a company that isn't, I was thinking the same thing. I don't know. Obviously they needed some type of cooperation, but I don't know. That's the one thing that has actually boggled me about this whole thing. Is how did the Canadian Mounties or whoever their police office was, how did they seize all the assets? That maybe they were in Canada and we just didn't know it. But I don't know. The only other thing I can think of is they had a back door that Canada found out about and decided to use it under their authority. I don't know, but I've been thinking about this. Now, hey, there's no question. They've taken the assets. Now, the thing is what better way to steal some crypto than to actually take assets from a no KYC exchange? Because it's no KYC. So how do they know whose crypto it is? All they have is an email address. And is that enough to claim ownership? I don't think so. So honestly, if governments want to steal crypto, who do you think they're going to steal it from? They're going to steal it from no KYC crypto exchanges because they can. So yeah, really kind of sucks. I didn't have much. I had I don't know. I know I had probably my biggest holding was 500 Dynex. I mean, it was worth something at one point, but it's not really worth much now. But it was between $100 and $200 is what I had in there. So I didn't lose a lot, but still just feels wrong. And they're going under the guise of, well, there was laundering money through them. Everybody was laundering money through it. No, there was a big community of us that were using it. The big community of miners that were using it because that was the only place that we could exchange a lot of these coins. So I don't know. It sounds shady as hell to me. There might be a morsel of truth in what Canada's saying, but I honestly not really buying it. I feel like Canada saw an opportunity and said they would take ownership of it before anybody else did, figuring that they would try to beat the US to the punch. I don't know. It sucks, that's for sure. How do you know it? You know everything. Oh, I said, how do I not know it? Yeah, I don't know. I have not. Let's put it this way. Usually when I know things, it's not because I just know them off the top of my head. It's because I researched it. This one I didn't research. I have not spent in one moment of this weekend or the previous week looking at how did Canada take control of it. It's probably out there. But I have not looked at it. I have not ChatGPT'd it. I have not done any of that. I have done some, I think, kind of cool things this week. So was looking at doing a video today, which I didn't, but I did do something I think that was pretty cool. So I have had my heat pump, or had my AC, excuse me, had my AC replaced with a heat pump. Why did I do that? Because I'm saving over 3 cents on my power rate by doing that, because now my primary heat is electric. I know I've said that a bunch of times. If you've listened to any of my streams, you've heard that at least probably 3 or 4 times already. So not trying to bore anybody, but so I wanted to basically put kind of a story together of how I got to this point and make it a video so that people who don't watch my lives would actually see it. So as I'm going through ChatGPT, because they basically helped me do the data analysis on it to figure out how much money I was going to save, I missed this. And it said, would you like me to build a web app for you? And I was like, yes. And so it built it. And then just one thing led to another. And well, I'll just show it to you. Give me a second. I got to find where I put it. Should be right there, right? Yeah. Let me move that up here and share my screen. Although I got to make sure I don't lose track of, no. I got to make sure that I keep my, there we go. I got to keep my eye on over here because that's where my guest is going to show up. We'll have to do a little bit of tinkering because I always have problems with the mic. Like my mic doubles and I have to like turn off the mic in one spot and I got to remember what to do. But anyway, let me switch over to, this is what I made. So a heat pump break even. So what I did here was there are a number of inputs, but basically it's the amount of electricity you use in a year, what your average supply rate is, also your, really the main thing, they have the supply rate and the transmission rate, to kind of, and actually this isn't, it's not perfect. I'm still working on it for ComEd specifically. I should be able to modify the supply rate based upon all the other things that make up the final rate. But the big thing is the DFC, the distribution facility charge. And that goes from 6.062 with non-electric heat to 2.924 distribution facility charge for electric heat. So that's where the big difference is. So there's the inputs, and then gas heating, you enter in what your gas supply rate is and your gas delivery rate. So those actually were just updated for this month. It was 0.52 last month. Now it's 0.45. What your efficiency is of your gas furnace, which mine's 95%. And then what your heat load is. Now, what I did with mine is I moved my heat load down by about 25%. Because it'd be about 50 for a about 2,000 square foot house. So, but because I've got all the heat in the basement, I don't need to heat the house as much. So I just brought it down 25%. And then what the actual project costs are. In this case, you have the gross install cost, which was just a little over 10,000. And then your total credits. For me, it's 2,000 plus 600 for the panel. That was necessary for this. So anyway, so those are all the inputs, the basic inputs. And then you have your COP table, which is an efficiency rating based upon outdoor temperature for your heat pump. So you enter all that data in there. And then your weather bins, I pulled just generic like O'Hare Airport data. And so it basically says, what's the percentage of heating for those different temps, based upon how often they happen. So that's what that is. And then you get to the results. Let me scroll down a little bit. So yeah, you basically have your baseline, which right now I'd be at about $11,000 a year. Well, based upon that input. That input's based upon growth. And I was actually going to check right before I came on. The average over the last 12 months was 62,000, but my average per month lately has been over 6,000. So, I mean, we can just change that number to 75,000 based upon where I am right now. And again, these numbers only matter. The two numbers that matter the most are the DFC non-electric and the DFC electric. These two numbers, the only thing that affects is your crossover temperature. Basically, the crossover temperature is the temperature at which gas becomes less expensive than electric heat. So right now, because the electric heat or the gas heat came down to 45 cents a therm, it actually is lower. So it's definitely come down a bit, and therefore the crossover temperature actually went up because gas is a lot of times cheaper. But I also have to figure out what I need to put in for supply, because anyway, this is still somewhat of a work in progress as far as how it works for me. But anyway, what it comes down to is if I'm at just 75,000, which is about where I'm at right now, it's about a 3.3 year payback, assuming that I set the crossover correctly. And again, based upon, again, I keep going back to this. This has very little to do with the actual results. You can see here, 262 to 355. It's only like $100, less than $100 more to run all electric heat than it is to use the crossover. So most of that is coming from that 3 cents saving. So anyway, thought it was kind of cool. Yes, I know exactly what you're asking. I have not seen it yet, but yeah. Sorry about that. All right, well, now you know who it is. So yeah, Javius is going to be coming in here in a second, now that he knows the password. All right, let's see. Retro Mike. What? Let me come back to that. I want to make sure I didn't miss something else. Oh, okay, I guess I didn't. So let me see what this is. Oh, interesting. This is the US law for forfeiture. All right, hold on. He's here. Let me switch over. And then I'll do the screen share through here. I know you guys can still hear me. Oh, I see. Video Ninja, so I want to turn that off. You guys can still hear me, right?
Nope, can't hear you.
And say something.
Hear me.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hello?
Hold on.
Oh boy.
Are you sure you're not muted on your end?
Oh, let's take a look.
Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. All right, say something now.
Hello, hello.
There we go.
Magic.
Yes,
magic.
I don't know. I don't use this enough to always remember all the little things. For some reason, it always starts muted. So I knew there was two things. I had to mute my mic in OBS because now my voice is coming through on Video Ninja, and then for whatever reason, the speaker, like the sound for
Listen,
you.
it's not a max voltage stream unless someone's muted. All right, dude, I was dying the other week when you were muted and you started your stream. I was dying. I was like, this is awesome. This is awesome.
Hey, hold on a second. It was for at least a very short period of time. You know, I would go on for 3-4 minutes sometimes without knowing.
So
I'd figure it out.
Max Voltage, being a live streaming connoisseur, needs to read the chat every 10 seconds, not every 5 minutes. So what happens is Max goes on tangents, and then you're like, is he just talking to himself? Like, what has he got going on here? So when you're muted, it's even worse. So that's
I can imagine. Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, yes, I go on tangents all the time. All the time.
So TradeOgre. So
Yes.
you're talking about this. So it's really interesting. I watched I saw the announcement of it being seized, by the Canadian government. And then I actually had time. I saw Rabid Mining had put out a video on it, and it blows my mind like everybody else. So like I looked into it, and there's 3 reasons for TradeOgre for seizing it. The first one, which I still can't believe is a thing, is that TradeOgre did not comply with Canada's regulations to require KYC.
Right.
So first off, let's just start there. How can you seize a platform or a website for not requiring KYC for Canadian? There's no way to determine are you a Canadian citizen or not. That's the whole point of no KYC. Like,
Right.
people are using it in a swap mechanic that doesn't use an exchange. If you guys weren't familiar, TradeOgre doesn't use an exchange. They only use the funds that are on their platform. So if you ever put in, I remember this when I put in a big order with Neoxa, when I wanted to get my first Neoxa node, it took 3 days because I bought up all the Neoxa slowly. Like, the order sat in there, it waited till liquidity was available and bought it up.
Right.
So they're not an exchange, they're a swap platform.
Right.
But that first thing blows my mind. Like, I don't know if you realize that was one of the reasons why Canada felt they could seize the website, was just because, oh, you're not complying with our KYC requirements.
Right. I was aware of that. Yeah.
But TradeOgre wasn't a Canadian company. It
Right.
wasn't registered in Canada. Like,
Right.
what the F? I don't
Yeah,
get that to start with.
I'm right there with you.
And then the second one is suspected of money laundering. Because you're trading and you're not requiring KYC, like, not even trading, you're swapping,
Right.
and you're not requiring KYC, they call this money laundering. And they're like, oh, it's filled with criminals. That was literally their terminology.
I know.
And
And
yet
I'm like,
you and I are like, wait, I'm a criminal because
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
swapping crypto on your platform? Like, and that was it. Those are literally the 2 reasons. The last one was operational shutdown, of like, they didn't seize operations because because they weren't complying. And I'm like, wait, these are all bogus reasons to be able to shut down and seize a platform. It's just wild to me that, I don't know, did they say what domain registrar they were with at all? Did you happen to see that? Like, who they were actually with? Okay. I was just curious that, like, the Canadian government approached the domain registrar and was like, we're seizing this. And they were like, sure, no problem. Like, that's pretty much what happened. Like, that's what occurred. And that's why they gave into that. But it's wild to me to see this Canadian government. And now, just as you had said at the top of your comments on the top of your live stream, like, they just stole $58 million or $52 million, whatever it is, worth of crypto, because, hey, no one's tied to it. It's just user accounts and email addresses. There's no KYC. So thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. You
It
think
is-
that's not by design? It sure as hell is.
Yep. And my concern is this becomes a theme. Like, this becomes a theme of like, oh, we got to pay back some debts. Why don't we take down some crypto platforms? Like, you know what I mean? That's my concern behind that.
Yeah. I mean, certainly it makes you really think twice about, well, geez, do I want to be on a non-KYC platform? Because if a government decides it wants to take it down,
Yeah.
you're never going to get it back. There's
Yeah.
no
Well,
way
there was a
you'll
great
get it back.
example of KuCoin. I know you and I could both agree, regardless of our political stance, last administration was a lot harder on crypto worldwide.
Absolutely.
And KuCoin was a great example of the SEC putting pressure all of a sudden on multiple exchanges, one of them being KuCoin. And KuCoin was like, all right, we're not going to take the heat. We're just not accepting any US, like anyone located in the US on our platform, which is a shame because I use KuCoin all the time.
I love
then.
KuCoin, yeah.
I really
know
would
that
love.
there was more behind that though, because
Yep.
they were starting to actually do KYC.
Yep.
And then was like, nah, I'm out of here. So I'm just like,
Yep.
well, I mean, we both can agree that the previous I can't think of anyway, the guy that everybody had memes about.
Oh yeah. The head of the SEC, I forget his name.
the head of
Bald
the
head
SEC.
guy.
Yeah,
Yep,
anyway,
yep,
you know what I'm talking
yep.
about. How soon we forget. Just
how
glad
soon
he's
we
not
forget.
around. But anyway, I mean, you knew he obviously had some goal or
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, bottom line is that that was a shame as to what happened with KuCoin. But I mean, this was
Panda did
man.
say, so Panda said in chat course Panda knows, because he's behind it all, that TradeOgre servers were hosted in Quebec, Canada. So they were based in, so
Oh,
that does change the narrative a little bit.
yeah.
Regardless, like, why didn't TradeOgre, like, whenever Canada started to come out after them about this or whatever, why didn't they just move servers? Like, move the domain, like, just pick up shop.
Back up all the
I
files.
mean, we know Canada is not very crypto friendly. Why
Right.
would you host in Canada? Like, seriously, put them in like the Bahamas somewhere or something like that, or another country that has no concerns. Why would you put them in Quebec, Canada? Like, that just seems like a massive mistake to start with.
I would agree. I'm actually, I just don't get it. I just really don't get it. What does make me wonder is obviously swap platforms,
Yep.
they won't have any assets to seize because they literally, all
Yep.
they do is swap it. They don't hold anything.
Yep.
So I'm kind of curious to see like if any of those get affected at any point, but I'm guessing not because they have no value.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, these were ones where, and all of us can agree, like, we used mostly TradeOgre for quick transactions, quick flips, and
Mhm.
shitcoins, where it was
Right.
like, hey, I want to liquidate these quickly and easily. What now? Granted, more and more pools, I would say in the last 2 years, more and more pools have supported, like, great example, pools out there with all the script coins, right? Most people don't want to hold all the script coins, 13 to 15 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So they just swap them, which is great. I love that. I love that feature. But we haven't always had that. We've
Right.
needed platforms to be able to liquidate some of these on. And unfortunately, the downside is like, now you don't have, we didn't have Zegex. Zegex had a lot of shit coins.
Yep.
Now we don't have TradeOgre in that regard. And it's just making it harder and harder for when you decide to go down these rabbit holes of these meme coins or these random coins that pop up for 6 months and they're gone 6 months later.
Yep. At least with Zegex, you had an opportunity to get off the platform before they went under.
Yeah, that was a little bit done, a little bit better in that regard. But yeah, it is tough for sure. I mean, I had funds on TradeOgre, nothing crazy. I mean, maybe a couple $100 on random coins. I mean, I don't know the last time I logged into TradeOgre, but I know there was a variety of different things on there. I had Zegex. I had maybe a very little bit on there as
I had
well.
less
just
than
like,
a dollar on Zegex by the time it closed down.
wow, look
I
at
had
you.
like nothing. Well, I mean, I didn't really have a lot on it. The only thing I still had on it was like where Zegex was like the only platform. Do you, it was Jingle Miner had one of the jazz miners going around. I forget which one
Okay.
it was, but I did a month or no 2 weeks of mining a different coin every day. So
Okay.
all of those were on Zegex and pretty much nowhere else. So a bunch of them like rugged or went under or whatever because they just weren't around anymore. But there was one or two that had like just dropped so much in price. Like I said, less than a dollar is what I had left. And so yeah, when they went under, I'm like, oh yeah, well, I got nowhere to put those. I am not wasting my 5 minutes trying to figure out where to put those. So I just
the two I could think about in the first like year or two when I got into crypto mining with GPU mining was Zegex and a platform called Safe Trade. I'm not sure if anybody in chat remembers that one, but yeah, I had used those very early on. I feel like I used Safe Trade super early on with Clore. I feel maybe not, but Safe Trade's still around, but I haven't used it in years. And Zegex I hadn't used in quite a while, but it just puts you in a bad position. I forget who it was. Was it Rapid Mining or somebody who had a bunch of Octaspace that they put on TradeOgre to flip it eventually? Like, oh, I want to be ready and available, so I'm going to move it over there, which I can understand that. I think the downside is like nobody anticipates when a platform goes under or is no longer available or like rugs or something like that. And that's the challenge is like, I get it. You want to move it there and then get ready to sell it whenever it pumps. But the downside is the longer it stays there, the more exposure you have.
Right.
And that's really why you should have it in your own self-custody wallet.
Yeah, it's
it was Krootman. That's who it was. Red Panda. It was Krootman.
Oh, okay.
He had a jazz miner that he had put on there. That's right. I listened to that one too earlier today. That's who it was. Krootman. Yeah, that's a shame.
Wow, $1,800. Ouch.
The most I've heard so far is 25 grand somebody had on TradeOgre that lost on there. And I'm like, Dude, you're not getting it back. You have
Yeah.
no identity. You have no attachment.
Yep.
You could be like, oh, it's attached to my email. Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah,
You
you're
know,
not gonna
Canadian
recover
government,
anything.
no government. Let's just say Canadian government. No government gives a rat's ass of like, oh, you know. Honestly, I would love to know how much, like, they say money laundering, but TradeOgre has no attachment to any fiat. All they're doing is flipping one to another, like we talked about. They have no association with an exchange. Like,
Right.
there's no money laundering happening in my eyes if someone is literally taking it and flipping it from one coin to another. It's just crypto. Like, you're just trading crypto. It's just
mean, the thing
wild
is
to me
that
that
you
terminology is used.
Right. You have the addresses. You have the wallet addresses. You have
Yep.
all that now. Where's the money laundering? There isn't money laundering. You have money laundering when you put things through a spin cycle, basically with Tornado Cash and all those. Yeah, that would be money laundering because you don't know
Sure.
what was coming in and what's going out and what actually went, what was linked to what. I get that why people have a problem with that, but this is nothing like that.
Yeah, you didn't have bank accounts attached. So you couldn't attach your bank account like a traditional exchange to TradeOgre,
Right.
and then go, okay, I'm going to send my Bitcoin there, and then I'm going to flip it to my bank account. Like,
Right.
yeah, and there was no KYC. That is not the case. It doesn't exist. It was just, hey, maybe the closest thing you were doing was taking some type of crypto, flipping it to a stable coin, and then bringing it to a platform. But then it would have to go somewhere. You'd have to go somewhere.
I know.
A KuCoin, a Coinbase, a Crypto.com, any of those, Kraken, and then you'd have to go to the bank account. It's just it makes crypto out to be so sleazy and shady.
Right. It's so lazy, if you ask me, because they're saying that, well, it's money laundering because everybody is, the average Joe still, puts the two things together. Crypto, money laundering.
Yep.
They just go together. No, they don't. Not in all cases. And this is one case where it's not at all.
Yeah, my Retro Mike actually says that there's a proposal that was submitted recently that exchanging from one digital asset currency to another digital asset currency would be considered laundering. I forget where I read that, and I'm like,
Really?
This is someone outside of crypto that doesn't understand crypto, not understanding to go from one coin to another, and not understanding how that works. They're almost saying like, oh, I'm going to take it from US dollar to Canadian. Like, that's the whole point is this is not traditional finance. Like, and so I forget where I read that as well. Retro Mike, you're correct.
That's crazy. That would be like, hey, USD is the world currency, so everything has to be turned into US dollars first before it can be turned into any other currency. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
It's like you need that middleman in between there. But yeah, this is another example. It's so funny. Each year I get together with some guys that I grew up with, and we go with a sporting event. I've known these guys for over 30 years now. Showing my age, I guess. Anyways, the one guy works for the IRS, and last year, so at that time, different administration, as you and I talked about, the SEC was treating crypto differently, and he works for the IRS, and we were talking about crypto, and he's like, listen, the IRS has no idea how to handle crypto. And I saw him again just a month ago. He's like, nothing has changed. We now have far less people working at the IRS because all these people took these deals to, leave on severance packages. He's like, we are so far behind. It's absolutely insane at the IRS. And he's like, we have no clue how to handle crypto at all. And these are all great examples. If the US government's saying this, other governments are saying the same thing because they can't control it. So because they can't control it, they have no clue how to handle it from a taxation perspective. And so, hey, it's money laundering. It's illegal. It's, oh my gosh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's definitely annoying. And I'm happy that I wasn't seriously hurt, by it. I had times where I did have a lot more on TradeOgre, and it certainly took me by surprise. I did not expect this at all. So yeah, I feel bad for those people that, are unfortunately got caught with their pants down.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild to see kind of like what occurs there and everything, and it just doesn't help at all. Like, these are the situations that hurt the crypto mining community. When site, I would almost consider TradeOgre like a tool. I feel like it was a tool
Yeah.
utilized by lots of crypto miners within the industry. If it's not
Yep.
TradeOgre, it's what I know some people use, Simple Swap, and what was the other one? Swap Space or whatever. Like I know there were a handful of different ones out there. Um, Panda says, this is why I use Koinly. All transactions imported and auto updated from ones that can. That is the best. Well, Koinly doesn't do swaps though, correct? I thought Koinly was just a reporting platform.
Well, yes, but you need to go through it. So if you did swaps, if you did the swap within an exchange, then no problem. But if you do a swap, say with Swap Space or something like that, you have to manually go in and say, oh yeah, these two things happen at the same time. And Koinly's pretty smart because it has already figured out what the cost of it was. So if the two costs match up, it proposes like, oh wait, this is an exchange of most likely.
Yeah. Got you. Okay. Then that does make more sense there. It's just wild to see because it definitely hurts. It definitely hurts things more. I mean, the hard part is as time goes on, it's forcing your everyday crypto miner like through only a handful of exchanges, especially within the US or whatnot. Every one of them is KYC. So regardless of like see, here's the hard part for me is like, I got into crypto mining for the avenue of like, oh, like this is not related to any government. It's not controlled by any one person. It's entirely decentralized and it's run by the projects and community. I was like, this is fantastic because our current government, even then, now, whatever, we know that they are not good with money, that there is lots of politics involved. And we all know there's lots of backdoor deals that occur and no one's just happy with the way that things are run. So that was why I originally got into it. But now when you jump into the state of things, it's like, well, you need KYC. You need to register all this information. It needs to go through these places. You have to identify yourselves here. And it's like, wait, what happened to that like grassroots hobby, off the beaten path, not controlled by anybody type of mentality? It's just unfortunately disappearing. And the hard part is that's what really got me interested in this originally.
It's not even disappearing. It's disappeared. All the talk is about how much Bitcoin do all of the big brokerage firms hold. And they now control the market. They manipulate the market. They try to, right now, I still believe that they're trying to hold down the price of Bitcoin as well as other cryptos. Yeah, I'm not trying to, put tinfoil.
They don't even, well, you got to remember those platforms don't even buy their crypto on market.
Right.
Like you and I, you have to buy it on market, right? You gotta go that avenue. You gotta KYC, it's a public transaction, but yet you go ahead and have MicroStrategy or BlackRock buy up $300 million in Bitcoin and it is not on market. It's an OTC private sale between these two companies or whoever it's from. And it's like, wait, you want to talk about shady like behavior?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even affecting the market. That's why when people are like, oh my gosh, BlackRock bought $300 million in Bitcoin. And I go, so what? All it does is make Bitcoin go bloop because it got a little publicity and that's it. Versus if it was on market, it would have a drastic effect like the everyday person. So I do agree with you there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's amazing. Like the big whales are actually starting to get out. And I kind of wonder if part of the reason why they're getting out is because they're like, what's the point? I got into this because it was decentralized, getting away from governments, and now where are we? We're exactly where we were trying not to be.
Yeah, imagine a Bitcoin holder that got in years ago, had one of these wallets that had, what was that one that had like 24,000 Bitcoin that moved it not too long ago, but they still had a ton in it. Imagine you were one of those early people that had thousands and thousands and thousands of Bitcoin. You got in when, it was all paper wallet style and everything like that. And now all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm ready to get out. And it's like, look at all the red tape. Can you imagine the red tape that person has to go with? If they're like, hey, I want to sell 24,000 Bitcoin. You're not just going to Coinbase or crypto.com and being like, sell and transfer to my bank account. Can you imagine how much trouble that must be for those people?
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm
Yep.
sure it is, but I think I could deal with that pain if it was me.
Yep. Yeah, right. Yeah. It's worth every hoop I need to jump through.
I
Okay.
think I can take
Yep.
it. Hey, if anybody wants to give me, just 100 Bitcoin or something, I can help you out. I
I don't need
ease that pain
24,000.
for
I
you.
don't need 24,000. 100.
Right, I don't need 24. Just 100. I'll take 100 off. You want to give me more? That's
Yep.
fine. But I'm just trying to help you out just a little bit. Anyway, speaking of Bitcoin, did you? I was actually surprised. A lot of these like home miners are looking pretty cool. Did you see Altered Components video on the I don't know, there's like BitX on steroids? It like has 4 S21 chips on it.
What's the name of it?
I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's like NerdAx something, like plus, or I don't even remember what it was
Oh,
called.
the Nerd QX plus.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
The-
Yeah.
Yeah. Very familiar with it. I actually have one. I stripped it down and put it in my immersion tank. So I threw it
really?
in there and over. Yeah. I threw it in there, overclocked it a little bit because of the better cooling with those things. Yeah, isn't it crazy? It's
Yeah.
like 6 terahash or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And yep. Home Bitcoin miner uses like 140 watts. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I was just very, very surprised with that. I found the video fascinating, and I'm not usually one for ASICs, and I was like, oh, these are getting kind of creative. So then I was like, okay, how does this compare? Like, how many chips does an actual S21 have? You know?
I do not. Sorry, I was distracted by Panda's message. I withdrew
Oh, that's
almost
fine.
300,000 at one time in 2021 to my bank account. I got a phone call from the exchange and bank. I'm not surprised. Can you imagine what that would be like today, though? If that was 2021. Now, granted, in 2021, people probably, half the people didn't even know what crypto was at that time. I feel like I'm talking about like 20 years ago. That was like just like four or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what that would look like today. If you were like, hey, I'm gonna withdraw 300,000, they're like, wait, what? Like,
I mean, this is
where's-
one of the things that I think is really great because, I mean, I was in the mortgage business, and if you could not prove like where you came up with assets, you couldn't qualify based upon those assets. So think about crypto. It's like if you have it in an exchange, it's still crypto and it didn't count, even though it's been there for 2 months. Now that's not, well, it's proposed, or I don't think it's been the final rules and everything.
Oh,
haven't
for
put into place yet.
Bitcoin to be able to be used as a
Yeah,
as
to
an
be used, not
asset.
just even as
Yeah.
a down payment, but be able to be used as an asset. Again, when you're trying to get, say you're buying a $300,000 house, not that they really exist anymore, a $300,000 house.
That's right. That's true.
And you're putting 20% down, but you could buy the thing outright, but you don't want to because cheap money, whatever. But you can't base it upon the cash that you have. Yeah, and I've heard people like who have lots of crypto, like have tried to get mortgages, and then they're like, "This isn't worth the trouble. I'll just pay cash."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of them you could use it as showing sources of income and assets. So you could be, instead of being like, I have 100,000 in the bank, you could say, I have 100,000 in the bank, but I have 300,000 in Bitcoin. And here's proof. Here's the address type of deal. So yes, we'll definitely have to see. I like Retro Mike's comment.
I do.
Sir, you don't even understand. I need to buy $300,000 in NVIDIA 3070s. It's critical for national security. I like it.
Yeah, I thought that
like
was
it.
funny. I don't
Absolutely
think that's what
true.
he used the 300,000 for. I could be wrong.
That's right.
I don't think that's what he used it for.
Yeah.
Might have had something to do
definitely.
with his house.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm
No,
gonna
I get it. I get it. We'll see. We'll see the direction things go. I mean, everything I've read on the TradeOgre thing just makes the Canadian government look like they were the heroes. Oh, it's being used for criminal activity. I'm like, what year is this? Where we just come in and associate crypto with criminal activity. Like,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that was like what we heard in 2020, 2021, when we didn't, as a society, understand crypto or Bitcoin. But it's like, do we still use that? Apparently we do today, because that's what that was their only reason. It was like, oh, it's being used for criminal activity, for money laundering. Like, what year are we in where that's the only way we associate with crypto?
Yep, I agree. The whole thing just kind of makes me sick.
No, it's just like what my concern is, what's next? What's the next? And that's, yeah, it's definitely tough.
Well,
for
I mean,
sure.
at least one good thing is it's not coming from our country. I don't think when it comes to crypto, we have anything to worry about per se.
Well, and actually, I saw the EU tipped off Canada about
Yeah.
this, and I'm like, wow, I'm not surprised coming from, I
And that was
definitely
my
put
point.
EU up here from a controlling company, and then Canada a little bit less, and I'm not surprised one bit. Where
I
it
think
was
the
stuff like
reason why
back,
the EU
yeah,
is not like so in debt is because they have found a way to fine and tax the crap out of corporations for
hmm
violations.
yeah, oh
And
yeah,
it's
oh
just,
100%, oh yeah,
It's endless.
yep, oh yeah. I mean, it's what is it? There is a rule over. So I forget who I spoke to, where there is some type of rule over there in the EU, and I couldn't believe this, where you can return anything at any time. So let's say you buy a product and you use it, and please chat, please correct me, but I feel like I this is what I was told. Like, they have a must return policy. So if you want to return something, regardless of getting it, using it, they have to accept it back.
Hmm.
And I'm like, and that is a great example of like these rules that they put in place to do business in these countries. And I'm like, that is absolutely insane. Like, you buy it, you use it, it beat to hell, and you're like, okay, I'm returning it. And it's just crazy. Like, some of those, as you said, finding ways to tax them, or finding
In
ways
reality,
to control things.
it's kind of that way in this country too, because I mean, you think about like Amazon takes anything back.
Oh, that's just
Um,
Amazon though. That's just like an
no, it's
Amazon
not.
thing,
eBay, same thing.
Well,
You
Amazon did it, and now people have followed behind it. You know what I mean? Like, I
right?
feel
Yeah,
like
true.
all these different sites have been like,
True.
okay, everybody has an Amazon mentality now. I guess we better start following that if we want to be competitive. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I don't mind it from a consumer perspective, but it certainly doesn't seem right. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
How's the AI side of the world been going for you? I saw a lot of people like Panda and other people bitch about not getting rented, but it seems like catching on with your videos, you're not having that issue.
Nope.
That's
I had my
awesome.
second best week ever.
Wow, good for you. And
So,
what did that equate to, if you don't mind me asking?
it was 800, and I'm not making it up. It's $869.
That's awesome.
I meant the
Good for
69
you.
part wasn't made up. It was
Oh,
$869.
well.
My top week was
Max is such a
885.
child. Such a child.
Yeah,
over
I
here.
am.
Jeez.
Nobody in chat says nice. Ugh.
Not yet. They're delayed. They're delayed. That's good. Yep. Yeah.
But
So
yeah, no, I in fact I said this on his stream today. I truly believe that if I've been on the platform for 2 years,
Mhm.
so I've had a lot of people use my GPUs
Yep.
and
Yep.
probably know my number as a host, and probably are coming back as returning customers because I do have highly reliable rigs. So that's the only thing I can attribute it to, is that, yeah, while it's only 50% rented, I'm way over 50%. I am not renting at the bottom of the barrel. I know people accuse me that of all the time, but if you look at the statistics, I'm just below average. That's where I have set my pricing at. And yeah, and it's doing really well. Some of the stuff is actually set a little bit above average, and it's still getting rented.
That's awesome.
The one thing I have found, 5090s, a little bit of a tougher go. Definitely a little bit of a tougher go. Right now, last time I checked, I have 1 out of my 4 5090s rented, although one of the 4 5090s is still in the process of getting verified. I've only had it on there for about a week. And I actually had I have something on render now, actually.
Yeah, I was listening to you the other day talking about that.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool, but unfortunately I was getting used, and then I had a 2-minute blip in my internet at 3:30 in the morning the other day, which screwed up. I would have had a much better week actually with vast. I didn't have that. That took about 5 4090s, a couple 5060 Ti's and one 5090, not offline, but basically lost the renter on, and I had to get people back.
Do you have a backup internet connection? Like, are you running 2 internet connections?
I don't, because I don't have another high speed available to me. So once I do,
Starlink. Just grab a Starlink then and throw it into the same. I mean, seriously, go with Starlink then, and then just go ahead and pipe it in and do load balancing between the two of them, so that it literally, if one goes offline, it's just bouncing. Now, I don't know what that behavior would look like from the AI rig and the rentals and such, but
I don't think
you're a big enough.
Yeah,
you're a big enough operation. You might as well.
I thought about it. The thing is that we're really close to actually getting fiber.
Okay.
Metronet is in the area. I see them laying fiber.
Nice.
Like most days when I'm out along major thoroughfares that are near me. So I was told it's probably going to be about 8 to 9 months probably before I will get before I'll get fiber. And then Comcast, again, all rumor. I've talked with techs, and the techs that were in the area, I asked them, they're like, yeah, I think you're going to get symmetrical coax by the end of the year. That DOCSIS 4.0 will roll out by then.
Yeah.
And it already has started rolling out in the area. So my fingers are crossed that I'll get that first, at least, because that would certainly help. It might.
Yeah, I mean, the fiber is going to be great for you. I feel like, though, going with even 2 internet providers that have different backbones would be fantastic. I mean, fiber, ideally, I get it, but at the same time, fiber can go down as well.
Right.
It's just more reliable across the board. But I mean, I think I would say, as you continue to scale, and the nice thing is you can write that off as a business expense. Like, you might as well write that off, which I think would be a smart move in that regard. But no, I mean, I think you're there, right? And I think, it's definitely a move to make. I mean, that's I mean, S-Chang says Starlink's too laggy. I 100% disagree. I've used Starlink before I left the corporate world. We had Starlink at all of our locations being set up with load balancing, and it worked fantastic. It worked absolutely fantastic. We had a fiber connection as our primary, Starlink as our secondary, and before Starlink, we messed around with, we had some satellite in there and stuff, and it was all because we wanted something off on a different backbone. And we didn't want to spend a fortune. We didn't want to spend a fortune on dark fiber or anything like that. And so that might be, I mean, especially with Starlink's coming down so much, that may be an avenue to look at.
Yeah, it actually interesting you mentioned that, because my sister lives out in the boonies, and she's had satellite, but she's had Hughes, which is just horrible. And so she's getting Starlink. She's just trying to figure out exactly how to hook everything up, because they're not just doing Starlink now. They're like, my brother-in-law is actually a cattle farmer. He's more on the breeding side of things, but they have, barns here, barns there. So they want to make sure that they have cameras in each of their barns. And so it's a matter of getting that point to point wireless connection. So she's like setting up, so I'm helping her set up like a routing system. And so anyway, which reminds me, I was on vacation when she first asked me about it last weekend, and I haven't had a chance to get back to it, so I have to look at that tomorrow. Before I get back.
Retro Mike was saying that you have to watch failover internet, because he knows Vast, if your public IP changes, you're required to report it. So I'm wondering if there's a way to be like, hey, you would think there's definitely people larger than you that have 2 different internet connections with failovers, that you as Max or as Retro Mike had said, that you at least, your account has 2 different IP addresses on it or something like that, or a block of IP addresses would definitely make sense. It's really interesting because, like, Panda says AI GPU rentals are dead. It's really funny. I listened to his video the other day talking about this, and then I enjoy listening to your videos as well. And Panda made a really good point that, like, there has been so much crap been added to these AI platforms that, like, people are just taking old GPU rigs with these with these motherboards, slapping them on there with these GPUs, and then they're bitching that, oh, I'm not getting rented, right? So these platforms have gone through the roof on hardware, but the hardware is all crap. Like, and I think that's the downside, is like, we as a community went the easy route. We went from GPU mining directly over to AI, and it's like, great, sell all your hardware and start from scratch. And that's not what people want to hear. They want to use that old hardware and find avenues for it. And I mean, Panda is a great example, people. Panda is not going from GPU mining over to AI. Have you seen the hardware this man is buying? Like, he's like, no, like, no.
Well, hang on. He did post on X. He bought a server case. So he is going to be,
it weighs more than him. It weighs more than him. All right. He could fit inside that server case probably. Let's be honest here. Like, oh my word. Yeah. Yeah, probably. That's right. Yeah. So it's just something that I've seen a lot of people complain about. But then when I hear and I ask these people, like, all right, what hardware are you running and stuff? And then I'm like finding out that people are putting, you know, their 2000 series, you know, GPUs that they have. I heard somebody the other day at a 1080. I'm like, what do you do? Like, no wonder you're not getting rented. You know, they took like an H110 board and they wanted to run there. It's just like, oh my gosh. And the big one too, I found as well, and you probably can agree with this, bandwidth is just as important from what I'm seeing as these GPUs. Like, if you have terrible bandwidth speeds, you're going to have a really hard time getting rented. It's something that I found.
I was just looking to see what Enable just said. He said the only way to have dual ISP for service like this is owning your own ASN number, basically your own IP address, allowing you to fail over without impact.
Oh, yeah. If you wanted to go between, if you wanted to go between like different sources and stuff.
Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah, I don't know.
So Scotty Boy, the interesting thing is we're not talking about necessarily the actual GPUs themselves being, you know, garbage or anything like that. I mean, 1660 obviously isn't going to make a lot, but if you have it on 8 lanes, you know, it's going to perform. You're going to be able to use the 6 gigs of VRAM for whatever model you're loading on it. But the problem is that a lot of people are using their mining motherboards and their risers and just, oh, I'm just going to load Vast on this, or I'm going to load this, that, and the other thing. And it was really interesting. So last week was a really interesting live stream on Monday night because I had some new people in there and I had never seen them before. Nice. I don't see them here tonight. And I was like, I wonder who these people are, where they came from. And what was
hilarious, who are you? Where are you from?
Right. So what was hilarious was I happened to get a ping from the general chat on Vast, on the Vast Discord server. And so I went over there and I was scrolling trying to find the ping. What ended up happening was, you know, you get those pings because it's some idiot doing spam and fraud or trying to
sometimes I never even know where it came from. I'm like, I hear a ding. I'm like, I have no clue where that came from. I have no clue.
It got deleted by the time you got there, but yet you're scrolling up to try to find it. Well, I scrolled up to the previous day and I was like, wait a minute. These guys are talking about me. Oh my God, they were trolling the crap out of me. It was pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, they're like, who's this idiot making 29 cents on a 5090? And I'm like, dude, you need to look at the pricing. I am not undercutting the market. There's people at like 22 cents. That's nuts. Hell, you look at what Octaspace said they were going to do it at 15 cents. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah. So anyway, they were just trolling me. They're like, oh, this is some idiot miner. And I'm like, yeah, you guys haven't watched any of my stuff.
Did you see Retro Mike had posted that on Twitter? Yes, I follow you, Retro Mike, on Twitter. That I guess he had on his website, he had taken a bunch of the different platforms to see like the different rigs and all the different platforms and rented. And they're talking about 1660s. There was somebody who had an Epic CPU. I saw it the other day, an Epic CPU, but with a whole bunch of 1660s. Like, I was like, holy cow. And they were rented. And it was all rented and everything.
For what?
I have no clue. I mean,
no clue. How much? I mean, I'm sure maybe you could cluster them or something, but my God, how much are you renting each of them for? You have this Epic server that's going to cost you a bunch of money, and then you're going to put cheap GPUs on it? It seems like
I was very surprised to see Epic and 1660s together on the same line. Crazy. I was like, okay, that's definitely interesting for sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting. So it's very funny. So I'm going to give Panda shit here because Panda's like, oh yeah, I got on a private platform, but I'm not going to tell anyone. But what you will do, Panda, is you will go spend thousands of dollars on hardware, tell people how much money you're making, and then won't tell them what platform you're on so they can replicate that. Just like the guys at Terra, I will give them shit as well. because they come along and they're like, AI is crazy profitable. We have all this hardware, but we're not telling you what it is. Now, I get it. I get it. Make the money where you can. Kudos to all you guys for doing that. I think that's awesome. But it's like, don't sit here and sell people hopium of buying all this hardware and being like, but we're not going to tell you what platform it's on. Go use what the peons are using, you know, like that's the hard part. You know,
I can tell you first of all, the platform that they're on is not accepting any new members for community. So that'll give people a hint. I'm not going to out the company or anything like that. But I can just tell you that I have said the name of this platform during my
last stream, I think it was. Or
I know. I've done it during a number of streams. I've mentioned it. Because I'm not, if I get on the platform, I'm not going to gatekeep it. I just have not been able to get on that platform. But for me, it's because of my internet. I have no ability to get 1 gig up, 1 gig down. And that is an absolute must for a number of different platforms to get on them. So
it's something that I'm seeing more and more of. The bandwidth is like so important. It's so important how good bandwidth is.
This is the stupid part. If you look, again, I have, I don't know, 13, 14 rigs, something like that. I look at what's being used. It's not saturated, not even close. So what do you need 1 gig up, 1 gig down for? You're not using it.
The ability to burst. They want that ability to burst.
But they're not bursting. That's
I get it.
They're not bursting. I get it. Anyway, it drives me nuts because I'm like, I know this is what you think you need. I will say this. The only thing that does saturate an internet link is 2 or 3 salad rigs when they're rented. Holy crap. They will take they do that 700-800 like that. They will saturate 1 gig link
stuff. Yeah. No, one thing that I do want to point out, and I agree with here. So we were talking about how, like, you know, you're doing well with AI rentals, and that's been good. And Panda's talked about him, you know, rentals and stuff, which is great. But we talked about like really crappy hardware getting put on those platforms. But then on top of that, Retro Mike makes a really good point. Like, people are jumping between platforms like it's a crypto algorithm. Like, I'm going to jump from this one to this one. And you made a really good point I want to point out, where you're like, I've been doing this on this platform for 2 years. So I honestly do think that, like, if you jump on a platform, just set it and like leave it on there. Don't be like, oh, I heard Max Voltage or I heard Panda say that this is profitable this week, so I'm going to go ahead and swap from A to B. And then, a week later, B to C. And it's like, stop it. Like, your rig being available is part of your score of earning jobs. And you jumping from the next hottest thing, like it's crypto mining, I think is really hurting a lot of these people. So I think it's just compounding the issue going on right now.
I mean, the way I look at it is look at a platform and see what percentage of rigs or GPUs are rented. If, like, great example, I had a 5090 on QuickPod. By the time I left, there were 16. I would then brought it down to 15 when I left, but there were only 2 that were rented. I'm like, the odds of getting rented, I mean, they're just not good. I don't care how long you've been on the platform. They're just not good. But when I first started, on the other hand, it was like 10 out of 16 were rented. I was like, okay, if I'm not rented, that's fine. I haven't been here that long. My reliability score isn't as good. I get that. I'm going to have to wait my turn. And eventually, and I was getting rented some of the time. I ended up making like $11 on QuickPod. Okay. Wasn't much. But like I said, once you've gained that reliability score, and if there are jobs out there, that's when you're like, you know what, just stick it out. If there are no jobs, that's the issue. And I honestly, I loved the QuickPod platform. I really, really liked it. But if you don't have jobs, you don't have jobs.
No, I get it. I mean, that's where, like, I set up that one Nosana rig. That's been running. I've left it on Nosana, even though I'm not as pleased with it right now. And Nosana did just have a big pump. I sold a whole bunch of my Nosana. Had a big pump. I sold a whole bunch of it the other day. Then it dropped down, and I was like, okay, great. Like, not a big deal.
So if I wasn't mainly deploying 5090s, although
Yeah.
The latest thing I'm probably looking back, I may go to deploy 1 or 2 more. Yeah, actually, probably 2 more dual 5060 Ti rigs.
Oh yeah, that's right. I
My
heard about that. You were
5060
talking about doing that.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
5060 Ti rigs have done really, really well. So I'm looking at that because they're rented on a lot of platforms. I mean, Nosana, they weren't even accepting 5090s.
Yep.
They're like,
Yep,
well,
I
you
saw
can be
that.
on here,
Yep.
but you're not getting any benchmark jobs. You will get paid
Yep.
0 if you come onto our platform. So I found that out a day after I actually deployed on their platform.
I remember.
Yeah,
I
so-
remember. Yeah,
but
and that's the hard part about Nosana is like some of these platforms where you're like, okay, I'm not getting any jobs. The nice thing is you do get benchmarks, but you get like 50% loss in your profits at least because you're not, which is the challenging part. So I totally get it 100%. But yeah, I mean, and Panda was giving me shit in chat about using older hardware because I did that video the other day using an old Dell Optiplex. Finally put that 5810 to use. And it has been rented ever since. So I released that video on the 15th and it has been rented ever since. So I'm like, great, just set it, forget it, and leave it.
Yep.
And it works out well.
Actually, one other thing was an update. Salad did come out with an announcement on yesterday, and said that they were lowering their prices because people were moving to other platforms because the other platforms were lowering their prices. So it's right now, in some cases, it appears to be a race to the bottom, unfortunately. So we'll kind of see where this ends up going. But, you know, as with anything, you're going to have ebbs and flows. I started in 1999 mining. We were making almost nothing. I mean, Panda remembers what it was like in 99. I mean, we were mining Zcoin, which turned into Firo.
99 was Panda even born in 99?
Yeah, he was.
Kidding.
Yeah, he was.
I'm just kidding.
He had already started his YouTube channel because I remember. Actually, kind of a quick little story. I think some of you guys already know this, but the way I actually met Panda was through Savage Minds poker games after his Friday night stream.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So I met him there, and a few.
You mean 2019? Chat's like you mean 2019, not 1999.
Did I say 99?
Yeah, you said 99, and that's why I was like,
2019. 2019. Crypto did not exist back in 99.
In someone's
Those
mind,
people that weren't alive at that point.
Most of chat probably was not alive at that point. That's why I'm saying that.
I don't know about that. I know there's a few people in here that are up there in age.
I like it.
I won't call them out. I think even Panda. Well, yeah, Panda was
yeah, he was
youngin
absolutely.
in 1999.
Yep.
But
good.
but yeah, I mean, it was rough back then, and then all of a sudden things started to pick up middle of 2000, and man, all of a sudden it was like September of 2000. I decided I am making a 6 5700 XTs, I think, AMD cards.
Oh yeah.
Making a 6 GPU rig. I was gonna do it, and boy, I could not have done it at a better time than right then and there, because that's when the ETH fees started taking off. And
so was your first
great.
rig an Ethereum rig? Like, was your first like rig for?
Well,
Ethereum?
it was a mining rig. I didn't like marry it to anything, but once that started happening, yeah, I was dedicated to Ethereum at that point. But yeah, I mean, it was, my goal was to mine to pay off the cards, because I did that on 12-month financing. That's the first time.
What cards were they?
Like I said, they were AMD 5700 XTs or something.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay. At that point, when I got started, I couldn't afford anything. I was using 4 gig cards and MSI 970. And I was mining Raven coin. That was my first. That was the first thing I mined because I couldn't afford anything else. All these people had these like YouTube. I remember watching like Panda and Red Fox, and there were a number of other people, and they were all like, they're all 6 gigs, right? 6 gig or like 8 gig. They're like, oh, just getting into 8 gig. And they were buying these crazy expensive cards, and I was like, my GPU's $100.
Right.
I was like, that's all I can afford.
Well, at
And
this
I
point,
just
like
went
I
with
said,
Raven
I
Coin.
had figured it out. I'm like, okay, what's the, you know, if this stays on, you know, how quick can I pay these things off and keep them mining? And it was like 6 months at that point, worst case.
Okay.
It was really
Okay.
starting to take off. And man, I had those things paid off in no time. I didn't pay them off because they were 12 months free financing, but yeah, and I remember buying them from Newegg through eBay. It was like some special deal they had through. I got the eBay financing because Newegg didn't have it. They had a listing on eBay, and yeah, I just bought one at a time. So, but yeah, gosh, the good old days, good old days. I loved that first rig. That was a tough one when
Oh,
I got my first Octominer, and I took that one apart to put them into the Octominer, and I was like, oh, I just loved that rig. I absolutely love. I still have that frame. So yeah, the good old days. I remember those.
I hear you.
Yeah. But
I
no,
have
I
a
did not.
few.
I did
I have
not
a
like.
few. Yeah.
I was gonna say I didn't. I didn't ever buy a GPU over MSRP.
Okay.
I got
you.
everything in MSRP.
Yeah.
So it took me a while to get.
I
obviously.
Yeah, I still have a few. I have a few server cases left. Just throw them in storage. Like, who knows? They're too big and bulky to sell. Like to ship those things, it's just not worth it at all. And unfortunately, what is it? What was that website? PCSP or whatever it's called. Like, they came in and destroyed the value of Octominers. Like,
Yeah.
they came in and they were like, "Hey, check out our old Octominers. You could buy them for $250 or whatever." And they just did. So not only did like GPU mining go to shit and the value of the hardware go down, but then all of a sudden they were like, "Yeah, you know these Octominer cases that you bought, yeah, they're worth nothing. They're worth, we'll even put 470s in them if you want." Like, it's just,
I have
unfortunately,
two of
entirely
them right
killed
behind me that my wife wants me to get rid of somehow, and I don't know.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
How you
you
gonna-
actually
how you gonna
you made
sell
out like
those?
a bandit
Yeah.
with yours though, didn't you? You sold yours?
I sold 5 of the 5 that I had, and I sold them for $500 a pop. And that was right before, that PCSP site came out. Like, it was so popular and just destroyed that entire market and industry for those things. And I understand it. Some people were like, "Oh, huge blessing. I've always wanted an Octominer. Now I can buy one." But for all of us that had them and were like, "I want to get rid of them." But yeah, I sold a number of them for like $500 each, and I was happy with that. Yeah.
I'm trying to see what Remington was saying. He says to all the people buying rigs, stop. The markets are saturated. That is all for TED Talk.
The market's saturated with crappy hardware and really shitty internet connections. That's what it's saturated with.
I would agree.
Not
I don't
saturated
know.
with quality.
I'm slowing down. Like I said, I'm probably at some point, because I have a dual 3060 rig, and I'm like 5060 Ti's. I can sell the 3060s, buy 5060 Ti's. It basically pays itself back in a couple of months based on the fact that it's going to make more. So I'm trying to optimize the rigs I have. I'm not going to put 4090s on 7810s. I mean, that's kind of not exactly a good marriage with those two, but putting, lower end cards on it that people do want to rent. Because of all the VRAMs. So
yep. Oh yeah. Yep. 100%.
Somebody had said on Panda Stream, like, hey, maybe I should make how-to videos on how to actually use these rental platforms. And I'm like, yes, that's what is.
I think that's quick content, but I think it also, like, the expectations. Like, I remember hearing Panda the other day talk about that on his live stream, and it's like, listen, Panda said, like, same thing I would say, like, I don't know how to use that technology. I don't know how to use those platforms. Are you even the right channel to be providing that? Like, not to you, but in general, are you even the right channel to be providing that information to? Like, does that belong? Now, granted, yeah, that could bring in some great traffic to be like, hey, if you want to use this, like, deep search or whatever else you want to use, here's a handful of platforms you can run it on, and here's how to do it. I think that's great. Like you could bring in a whole different audience, which I think is good. But like,
Well,
I'm not going to go ahead and try to do that myself.
right. So there are I've been doing a lot of studying, because that's kind of what I do instead of actually creating videos. I just study about, like all the things about a channel. So anyway,
I like it.
one of the things that I had heard was like, you can be very successful with 3 different types of channels: beginner, enthusiast, and expert. You can be very successful as a beginner. Hey, I'm got 2 weeks to become proficient at this. See how I do, whatever it is. So you can definitely be that. And obviously, if I was going to do that, that's where I would start. Eventually, somebody can move into being an enthusiast after that. But I don't know. I just thought it was interesting, because it has crossed my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could bring in. So it was really interesting that this comes up. So I set up my one rig and put it on Nosana for 30 days. Didn't create a video around it, didn't do anything. Just wanted to try it out, see how it went. And I was chatting with people in the Nosana channel and was like, hey, I'm going to be looking to make a video on this. I've been using it for 30 days. I just kind of wanted to see what it was like. And I got shit from one guy who was like, but you haven't used it. Have you used the platform itself? And I'm like, no. Why not? And I'm like, because I have zero need to use your platform. I'm like, I'm on the opposite side of this. I'm not on that. And they just couldn't grasp the concept of like, well, and this is where you have those elitists sometimes that are like, you need to use it through and through. You have to understand it. It's like, no, I don't. At the end of the day, I just want to provide the service. It's on the service side of this. And so I guess, yeah.
I mean, the thing is that, okay, you say I need to be able to know how to use it. Well, if I was going to try to use it, I'd probably just take it off your platform and deploy stuff on my actual hardware. Why would I deploy hardware to be rented and then use a platform? Now I can see it a little bit where, okay, if I can stay rented consistently, great. But if you can't, if you can stay consistently rented, then you can go to the platform and say, I'm going to use this for, a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there. So you're making more renting than you are. So I guess I can kind of see that. But I will say I did use Vast for I don't know.
Okay.
I put $10 on there. This was back when mining was marginally profitable.
Did you mine on Vast?
Yep, I did.
Nice. Nice.
And I remember what I was doing was, because I had done it, you make mistakes pricing. So I would look for all the people that made mistakes pricing, and I would hop on it as fast as I could and ride it for like 30 minutes until the person figured it out and just was like, I can't let this guy stay on my platform for this price. I'm just going to shut it down. And
was that Panda in Octospace when it was like a penny or something like that he said he rented for the other day? I heard him.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
it's the same idea. Same idea. So yeah, that's, I mean, really if you can rent things for less than the power of your electricity rate, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. No, I do think that's smart. That's good. That's pretty cool though. So I do have a question though for you. How much bigger can you grow your setup before you're out of power? Because I assume that's going to be your limiting factor.
Yeah, that and heat dissipation. But more, it's about equal on both. I can dissipate a little bit more heat, but as soon as I add as I am seriously thinking about doing the same thing that Panda is doing, which is basically doing an 8x5090 rig.
Like I'm consolidating almost.
Not consolidating, because these will all be new 5090s.
Oh, you just want to add to it. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to add. But if I did that would, because basically, but I have like around, if everything's rented and pulling power, it's probably about an average of about 9,000 watts across my two 30 amp circuits. I have one more 30 amp circuit that I can use, and that would take most of the remaining power. I could add a little bit here and there probably. So probably about 10 to 12 more GPUs would be the maximum I could put in the basement. And then I would need to build a shed.
Interesting. To deal with the heat. So because I guess the challenge is as you consume heat, so does the heat rise. Like you're consuming that heat, so that's going to be a factor there. Interesting. Yeah, because I wonder if like you build a shed and then you just do a separate service to that shed in order to like fully utilize that would be the better avenue to go.
That's the idea. I'm not
Yep.
sure I can do that.
Mm.
Because yeah, that would be better because I would have
Yep.
a much low because at that point I would need to have a new run. I'm 200 amps is
Yeah.
what the
Yeah.
house
Yeah.
was built with,
Yep.
30 years ago, and I upgraded to 200 amps, so now I'm fully using that. But if I want to have up to 400 amps, I'm gonna need to run another 200 amp, or well, that's probably what they would do is probably just run another 200 amp run. And so it'd be great if they could just run it halfway to the shed, because that's what it would be. It'd be about halfway, which would be a lot less money to run that. But I don't know
400
if
amps
they
is
will
a
allow
lot.
two-
It's a lot. It's a lot of power. So I think that, especially for your situations, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice. But yeah, if I ran it there, that would be good. But I've done some reading where in this area, I've read that they may not allow 2 meters on the same property.
I'm up to 3 now, so I can't complain.
Yeah.
I know
But
a
they're
guy
not
who's
all
done a
on your
few sheds.
property.
Yeah, they're on the other guy's property, but all three of
Right.
them are on one property, one residential, and then now it'll be 2 commercials, all on one property. And I was very skeptical that they would allow the second commercial even on that property, but here we are, a
Well,
few weeks away, and they're going to be coming out to add it.
I obviously we can see what's around there, but is the space
Yeah.
like directly behind the house, like right next to the sheds? Is that commercial land right there?
Agricultural land there, and so 2 sides have agriculture, and then there's residential on the other 2 sides.
Right. So I'm thinking that's the way you guys kind of get away with it is because
Mhm.
agriculture is business. So
Mhm.
therefore you're able to do a
Yeah.
business rate.
Yeah, I just finished. I'll have a video out on Monday. I just finished. This week was my phase 2. So
Mhm.
literally, we started on Tuesday. I was at a funeral on Monday. So Tuesday to Friday, we took it from a shed to a crypto mining shed, all in one. We did it in 4 days. 2 electricians came out to help do it. One of my community members, Joey, came out to do it. But we finished almost everything. Tomorrow, I'm going over there to terminate Ethernet connections, and that's it. It's literally 100% ready
Oh, wow.
for inspection. Yeah, it's ready for inspection and energized. So that takes it to about 10 days total from nothing before the old shed to this one. So yeah, it was a long week, but you'll see in the video on Monday, like we crushed it. Like all the intakes, all the electrical, everything. It turned out really, really good. I mean, it's an exact replica of the other shed, exact match, and everything, just brand new. Which, oh my god, things went so much faster when you've done it already, and you're like you're
Yeah.
not having to like the first shed was like, how are we gonna do this, and like seeing if it'll work. Versus this shed was like, okay, we're just gonna copy that and do it over here. So that worked out pretty sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, my main concern about doing a shed, because I don't have super close neighbors, but they're pretty
Mhm.
close. And
Yeah.
one of them is squeaky wheel, let's just put it that way.
One of those. Yep.
Yes, one of those. Oh, I have stories and
Mhm.
I have told them before. I'll come back to that in a minute, but um I'm worried that the sound of the fans might be an issue, not the actual miners themselves or
The
not
server
the
case
miners, but the
fans.
server cases. But now my
Yeah.
plan was to leave all the server cases in the house. Everything
I
else
wonder.
you go to the shed.
I wonder if you could go like. I wonder where my mind goes based off of what I've done with the sheds and stuff like that. Is if you went with open frames designs, because you're pumping airflow through that shed very quickly. Like that's how my sheds are. They're all wind tunnels. So like an open frame design would lend to that. It would be quieter. The GPUs would not be that loud. You could have an intake wall like I've done on my whole side with filters and everything and chicken wire. And on the opposite side, what I probably would recommend then is not going with the shutter fans. Shutter fans are actually pretty loud. Like
Mhm.
I have the one here, and going with inline fans. You can get 12-inch inline fans and just have them pull the air through the whole shed. I think that would be a really good design for what you're doing.
How much more expensive are the inline fans though? How much are they a piece?
The inline fans are about $1.50 per
That's not
inline
too bad.
fan, but they're doing like 800 CFM, and I use the 800, they're the 8-inch because of the way that pairs up, but they go 10-inch and even 12-inch. The
Yeah.
12-inch ones are like basketballs. The
Yeah.
nice thing is like you're looking at like 1,000 to 1,200 CFM each, and they just sound like a turbine, and you can't even hear it. And then what I would recommend you do is what I do on my exhaust side. You do a hooded exhaust, so it's curved, so it
Mhm.
points any noise coming out downward,
Oh yeah.
and that works out beautifully. So then, and then you just face it in the opposite direction of like your picky people, and you'd be fine,
Well,
honestly. I mean,
the problem
yeah,
is where I'm planning on putting it, because I'm also maybe at some point may put some solar panels on it
yep,
too.
yep,
So that means it really only allows it to be on
yeah,
one side of the backyard.
yep,
And but if I put it on the non-picky people side,
mhm,
that means it's closer to everybody. If I
mhm,
put it on the other side towards the picky people, it has a
mhm,
lot more distance to get to that house or even to their lot line. Because that's to go
mhm,
all the way across our yard. So we're
yeah,
talking probably 120 feet away
okay,
from their lot line, which obviously gives it a lot of time to a lot of space to dissipate that noise. So that's
yeah. I
kind of where
also
I'm at.
wonder for you if like, this is one of those situations where like when I first got into this before I moved to a Mr. Electrician's property, where like it was like, okay, can I buy a shed or a larger shed and drop it on a plot of land somewhere that like I lease from someone? So like
Mhm.
that was the other one too, because for you, like power is a big factor, but like it sounds like you found like it's not. I don't know. I don't say it's not as big because it is a factor, but like could you take your shed, drop it on a plot of land that someone's leasing for like super cheap per month, and then you're not worried about it? Because I
Right.
just feel like, I know how it is. Everyone's like this. You want to expand, right?
Right.
You continue expanding, and then it's like, okay, like you put all this time and money into trying to make this shed work in your backyard, when in reality, like Max's data center, is around the corner. So how do we make that work? So that's always
Right.
something I try to think about.
Yeah, the good thing is that if I put it on my property, then it adds value. So whenever we would want to move out, if we ever did that, at least then I'd
Sure.
have a big shed that would add value.
Yeah.
As opposed to plopping a shed somewhere else that who knows what happens to it.
hmm
Um,
hmm
I think back of when Voscoin had his shed.
Yeah, it's
And
on
then
the
he
side of his house, like at the end of the driveway there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he ended up selling that house, and he ended up getting rid of that shed. And I
Yep.
think he basically sold it for a song because I mean, moving a shed
Yeah.
is a pretty expensive proposition.
No one wants to. I when I first got into this, I was looking at sheds, and I was like, oh, this guy's selling the shed for free. But it's like, oh my gosh, like trying to move that. So I totally get it 100%. It's really funny. If my electrician ever sells his house, I'm just buying his property. Like that's literally what I'm gonna do. Like the amount of time and money I put into that, I'm just gonna buy the
Yeah,
property. Like I've already told him. He's like, all right, cool, sounds good. I'm like, I'm buying it. Like already committed. But Panda asks, are you sharing profits for your electrician? So I have a gentleman's agreement with him. I pay for his electric in his house. So I shop his electric. I pay for his electric. And each shed, he has two ASICs in that I pay for the power on. So all said and done, I pay about $1,200 a month in rent is what I pay for that setup there. So if you think about it, each ASIC's like $250 in electric each month. He has four. Right now he's got two. When the new shed's done, he gets two more ASICs, and then I also pay for his power his power for his house. But nice thing is he's a single guy that's never home because he's on the like he's an electrician, always
right.
there. No animals, no isn't married, no kids, so his electric rate's pretty low. But yeah, yep, that's the agreement I have with him right now.
And he gets to make the money on the ASICs.
Oh yeah, like he just bought a DG1 Lite for $2,800 directly from AlphaPex,
Hmm.
and he will right now that earns $17 a day, no power. That's fantastic. Like
Yeah,
works out really well for him, and he doesn't need to know. He does. He's like, dude, I just let you set it and forget it. I'm like, that's
yeah,
awesome. Like, good for you. Like, it's a great avenue to. So you just got to find. you find things to make it work. But he did all my electrical in the new shed entirely free. I didn't have to pay for any of that. Like I paid for I paid for like the parts, 400 amp meter base, the breakers, the 2 panels, all the wire, all the outlets. I paid for all of that. That was expensive, but I don't have to pay for the labor. Him and his apprentice did all of it when they were available. So it was like,
Nice.
great, cool. So, because that's super expensive. Like the electrical build out, anywhere you do electrical build out. I mean, I hear people, they're like, it's thousands of dollars. I'm like, yep.
Yep.
And this is the same guy that I bartered my original electrical work with at my house with teach me about Bitcoin. Here's the same guy who wanted to just learn about Bitcoin and traded that for, so it worked out really well.
Nice. Yeah. And I look back on when I had the panel upgraded, and there were multiple people that wanted $4,500 to have it upgraded.
Yep.
I got lucky
Oh,
that
yeah.
I found somebody that would do it for $2,800, and they were great.
Yep.
But yeah, that and $2,800 to put in the panel and put it in 2 additional circuits.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't imagine what I would have paid. Like the shed that I just finished yesterday, 400 amp meter base, 2 200 amp panels, 14 30 amp 240 volts, all the wiring, all the connections, all those Drox meters, 14 Drox meters done with all 630Ps wired in, all that was done. And yeah, definitely. And the conduit, 200 feet of conduit. Like,
wow,
oh yeah, it would have been very expensive. So I count my blessings, to say the least.
Yeah, no kidding. That definitely, you definitely have a match made in heaven with that. That's for sure.
Yep. That's why like, and now it's got the big pad there with the 2 sheds and all. And him and I are talking about adding a 3rd shed in the middle, not for mining, but for storage. I have so much mining stuff at home. My wife's looking for like, where can we put this? And I'm like, all right, we may buy another shed, put it in the middle. And he's like, hey, I'll split it with you. And he'll use it for like his riding mower and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely, it's a good relationship. It's definitely a really good relationship for sure. But that's where I'm like, man, so much of my life is at that property. It's like my office.
How far away is it?
So what's that?
How far away is it?
It's 15 minutes. So it's like 15 minutes away. So that's why I'm like, dude, if you ever decide, now he has no plans to do anything, but I'm like, if you ever decide to move, I'm just buying it up. I'll just buy it up and rent it. Buy it up, rent the house, and fence off my little area and be good to go. Done. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, you got Panda. He's got, I'm pretty sure the property he's got, he doesn't live upstairs. I'll just say that. Yeah, same thing. I'm sure he's probably got a lock to make sure people can't get into the basement.
So I really want to know. I followed Panda for a while, and I've watched his channel for a while. How does he mine all of that downstairs and the tenants not complain upstairs? Like, it's so ASICs, all those GPUs at the basement property. Like,
right.
I don't get it.
The basement property doesn't have ASIC. I don't think it has ASICs. I think it was all GPUs at that property. So they didn't sound quite as loud. But yeah, he says you can't hear it upstairs. That's what he said.
My wife can hear me talking upstairs. So I don't know how he gets away. Like I don't know how that works. Like, what is that house built out of? I really want to know, because that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Did he put like insulation in all the ceilings?
I don't know. He's saying in chat, he's just saying no sound upstairs. How I don't get it. Like, how does that happen? Wild to me. Absolutely wild. Maybe it's an older home. It's like thicker or something. I don't know. No clue.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it a real basement? It's underground. That's what basements are. They are underground. But yeah, I know that on the one side, it's like more like a garden basement, because I know that his one fan just blows directly at ground level, not like into a window well and then up like mine does.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So, but yeah, I love that. The one thing we don't get to see anymore is the barn. We barely get to
what
see
is that
the
barn? What is that barn?
and the funny thing about it is that he talks about how a mess his current basement is. His barn, oh my God. Every time he goes back there, I'm like, that looks like a tornado just hit it.
Dude, I swear he just uses that barn as like, okay, I need to hide things away from my wife so she doesn't get upset. So I just put him in his barn. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, literally, that's like a hoarder's paradise in there. And it's like what's the obsession with boxes? It's just filled with boxes. Like every like 6 months we get a view of that barn, and we're like, trust me, I'm the same way. I watch it and I'm like, what am I seeing? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, barn is even worse. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
You have a problem.
It's funny. He
Just
did
throw it
mention,
away.
somebody had asked him in chat, like, it was Mine10 had asked him, how much would you make if you just, or he actually put it in, you know, as far as the amount of money that you make in a year, if you sold all your hardware, how many years of income would that be worth?
Sure.
And I don't know if he wants to say it here, but I know he said it on the stream. But yeah, he didn't give a year. He just gave more of an amount of how much hardware he had. And I was like, yeah, I guess that is about right. But damn, that's a lot. I know, I've talked about what I've got in my basement. And at the time when I made that video, it was about 50,000. Now it's probably closer to 56,000 in hardware. Now that I added 2 more 5090 rigs.
Yep. Yeah, I get it. It's pretty wild to say the least. It's funny. Just in case I have to ship anything is what he says. So you're a hoarder just in case you have to ship it. Got it. 100%.
Yeah, I will say that it was the same way when you were mining. It was like you didn't have to, once you got to a certain level, you didn't have to think about where the money was coming from to buy your next set of hardware, because it was coming out of your profits. And that's where I'm at now with Vast. I'm like, okay, making over $3,000 a month. That's like 150, almost 15090 rig, basically 15090 rig a month I could add and be net zero, or not quite, because obviously I have power to pay for it, but yeah, I mean, it's a much more comfortable position to be in rather than just starting out. That's for sure. When I did that first, I still remember Mining King, when I did that first 84090 rig. And he's like, and I did it with all, again, I'd done it before. I'm like, I'm going to follow the same.
That was the Best Buy, like, financing thing, right?
Yeah, they had 24 months at that point. I'm like, this will certainly pay for itself.
They were giving them away. Max had to eat that up.
Yeah, exactly. So I basically bought all of those up with various places of either 24 or 12 month free financing. And it was, again, at the very beginning, I don't want to say nerve wracking. It would become nerve wracking if the numbers didn't start to add up. But in the beginning, the numbers added up real quick. You were going to pay that off within 10 months. I wasn't really worried about, whether or not I was going to make 24. But I could still remember Mining King was like, man, you're crazy. And then he went out and liquidated all of his crypto to buy 2 octo miners full of 4090s.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm like, it's a, I don't know about the timing of it, because that was before the bull run. But it's still a good buy. I mean, it was definitely a good buy, and he's done very, very well with it. I mean, I know when he was on Panda Stream, he had said like how much he's making. He's making like 11,000 a month off of.
Yeah, I forget how many he had. Like,
I think he's got 4, so I think he's got 32 4090s.
32. Okay, I know it was up there for sure.
Yeah,
but hey, it's awesome. I mean, that's great. I think it's a good way to go. I think it shows the value of pivoting. Yeah. And I think that's the big one is like, I hear, a lot of people are saying like crypto mining is dead because of the crypto mining that they were doing 4 years ago or 3 years ago. They're expecting to be the same today. Right. And it's like, man, things have really shifted and pivoted, and I totally get it 100%. I mean, if you haven't diversified or you've gone down a different path, you're a great example of that. I think you're very unhappy right now, and that's the hard part is that, the same people that have the same hardware they had 3 years ago are still trying to wait for that moment. And it's just, I don't think it's coming. I don't think it's happening again. I think most people can agree that especially with GPU mining or old ASICs from last bull run, it's not working. It's time to move on. Time to cut your losses and move on for sure.
Yep. And the thing is when you do pivot, a lot of the people that followed you in the first place will follow you where you go. They didn't, they started following you because of what your topic was, and then they eventually get to know you, become part of a community, and then they will follow you pretty much wherever you go. I mean, how many of us, if Panda started a car channel, would watch his car channel? I would. I mean, DJ and his damn and his. I mean, I've even followed DJ's channel with freaking
Pokemon stuff. Yeah, you know what? I hope it works out for him. I think it's very cool. I did see. I haven't watched it yet. I do. It's in my watch list of him looking to open up an online Pokemon store. I think it's awesome.
Oh, I hadn't seen that.
I think it's. Yeah. He was looking to open up like an online store type of deal, and I'm like, that's fantastic. Like, it's great to see people finding alternative methods to make money.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great way to go.
Yeah, it's so pivoting is, I don't know, it just opens up a lot of doors. So like right now, I've, with what I'm doing with the GPU rentals, it's also kind of started to get me into doing more home lab stuff. And it's really started making me think about things that are going on at work. I'm not gonna like give any secrets away or anything, I shouldn't say, but with a food grade warehouse, you'll have an audit of some sort, whether it's SQF, AIB, or ASI. You're gonna have one of those audits. They can be difficult or they can be easy, but in general, they're not fun to prepare for. And the tools that are available at a lot of companies are not that great. It's like, there's a better way. What they're going to go down. They have like a rubric of all the things that they're going to cover. So why not have like a hyperlink document? And what's interesting is that things are always changing. So I actually asked our guy, why don't we have that? And he's like, well, we took the hyperlinks out because we were always changing the documents. And I'm like, okay, there's a solution to that. There's got to be a way. And
a living document or a web page that's always active.
There's a million and one ways. And I had said, wouldn't it be great if you had an LLM, a trained LLM, and actually input all of our documents in it, especially anything related to any of the audits that are being done, so that if somebody just wants to, you just talk to it in plain English. Hey, the auditor just asked me this. And the thing spits out at you because it has all the context. And from my understanding, it's not that hard to do. It's like 5 steps. It's been done so many times, and our company hasn't done it. I mean,
rinse and repeat. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Logistics, and a lot of the companies are still stuck in the dark ages. We're not alone. Yeah, I know we're not.
Yeah.
I see like the trucking companies and what they do, and I'm like, oh my God, they are way stuck in the dark ages with the way that they assign routes and things like that. So I think about like different like things I could put in my portfolio, this thing I did today. I was just showing it earlier. The heat pump calculator that I did.
Yep, I saw that.
That's in my GitHub now. I now have my first part in my portfolio. So I was like, yeah, this is cool.
There you go.
So I learned a little bit about how to deploy on GitHub, and then I use Netlify to actually deploy it onto a web page. So that was my project for the day. I started it in the morning and I finished it. Now, the interesting thing about it is I had a working model that was almost done by 1:00. And then I said, I wanted to do a little bit more, and ChatGPT went off the rails, totally screwed it up. And I worked on this thing for another 4 hours trying to have it correct itself, and it wouldn't. I said, all right, back up. We're going to go back to when you actually worked, and I'm going to put code in, and I'm going to be like, this is where you were. Now, with this, I want to add in the crossover temps and the profitability for the crossover temp, at the crossover temp. And they're like, okay, I can do that. And then once I told it to do that, we were done.
That's nice though. I mean, it's nice to be able to, it's just, that's the direction a lot of development is going, is utilizing, utilizing those platforms to fast track it,
Yeah. The coding itself isn't the skill so much anymore. It's, can you take an idea
Yep.
You know, do you have the ideas to implement? Do you have some idea that's worth something that somebody
Sure.
else hasn't attempted to implement? So what I'm going to put together an email this week to a guy in IT and ask him, who should I present this to? But be like, hey,
Yeah.
dude, just
Smart.
let me do some skunk work projects on my own
Yep.
time, because this is
Yep.
going to be part of a portfolio that I'm going to build. I can say that I built this.
Yeah.
So
Smart.
let
Smart.
me work on it. The company will own it. You guys will get it dirt cheap, and you're going to have to find
Well,
somebody
keep in mind the way these things work though is the only way the company can own it is if you actually do it on their hardware on their time. If you do it at home, the company can have no association with it because they have no rights to it. You'd have to sign some type of agreement
probably
to do that, because we ran into this all the time in the corporate world.
Oh,
where
really?
Like,
Okay.
yeah, we ran into this a lot where we would have people in like our video teams or our photographers or our graphic designers, and then we'd find out they were doing this on their own laptop, or they were traveling and they did it on their own iPhone or whatever. And it was like, our company doesn't own the rights. We need to pay you for that if you're going to do that, because of the way that some of those laws work. So yeah, you have to be careful on that. Like, they'd have to you would literally just have to go into ChatGPT and write up an agreement that says like you understand the fact of it. So like that's the hard part, because if they know what they're doing, they're going to be like, one, you can't do this on your own time, we have to pay you, and two, you can't do it on your own hardware, you have to do it on company issued hardware.
Well, because I'm
for them to
salary,
own it.
because
Yeah.
I'm salary, that the doing it on my own time isn't going to be an issue, because they
Yeah.
own my time basically. When you're salary, it's my choice at that point.
Yep.
But as far as where it's done, yeah, that'll depend on whether or not they want to, you know, rent out space on Azure. They're an Azure
Sure.
shop.
Yeah.
And rent out space to allow me to do that, but that can get expensive too. So I
Yeah.
could be like, hey,
Yeah.
look,
I get
I
it.
can take down one of my or add a rig, because I would eventually use it for something else. Let me develop
Yeah.
on it for
No, I mean,
like
I
2-3
mean,
weeks and-
I think it's awesome. You know, you're trying to better yourself and you're trying to value it from the company side. And from an outside perspective looking in, it looks fantastic, right? But I don't know what your company culture is and what that aspect is, to be like, oh, we encourage people to think outside of the box, or no, you're a drone, just do your job and come to work and do your job and leave work every day.
So think about the company you worked for, and if I'm using an extreme example, if your janitor came to you and said, hey, I've got this great program that I want to write for the company, are they going to really take them seriously? You're a janitor. And maybe that janitor is doing that job because he's going to college. There could be a million reasons.
Sure.
I know that I'm a little bit different than others. I'm warehouse manager. I know I'm very well educated warehouse manager when compared to the other warehouse managers. So I know that, but it doesn't matter. I'm still viewed as a warehouse manager from corporate's perspective.
Yep.
So
I get it.
That's the reason why
it.
I'm hoping to go through this guy who I actually played basketball with in high school. We were both on the same team as all the way through high school. So I'm hoping that he can maybe give me some guidance. I'm just really hoping that they would run something like this through IT versus there's like a technology group that they have. And I have a feeling that they would try to run it through that. And I've spoken to the leader of that group. She looked at me like I was speaking a foreign language when I was talking to her about like things I was interested in, and because she didn't know anything about the things I was talking about. She just, I mean, they're right now, their state of the art is robotic forklifts, which it is state of the art. I mean, it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But there's so much more than that when it comes to warehouses, because there's so much data that I'll give you an example. We're switching over to a new HR program, which is great.
Okay.
I'm happy with it. The problem is they haven't fully moved over yet, and we don't have the reports that we need to run some other reports, and they're important reports. And and I'm like, this really shouldn't be that hard. The data is there. You should be able to pull that data into a database. Don't worry about the reports. Like, put it into, not, I'm oversimplifying by saying, oh, just put that data into an LLM and it'll just massage it and out comes, Wonder Bread. You know, it's not that easy. But at the same time, they're still stuck in the old ways of, I need to recreate the same reports that we had before, as opposed to how can I build a better mousetrap, as opposed to building the same mousetrap that may be a little bit easier to use, but it's still the same mousetrap. So
No, I
anyway,
get it. I get it. It all depends on the company culture,
yeah,
and kind of where their
exactly.
mindset is for sure. And it can be tough, for sure. I mean, I think it's, I would personally say the best approach is kind of what you're saying is like, hey, I don't want to be a warehouse manager all my life. So I'm exploring and increasing my skill sets. One of the skill sets that I'm looking at is automation and utilizing AI. And I'd like to do some pet projects for the company, on my own time, type of deal. And I would love to see it benefit the company. That like literally statement right there should value anyone to be like, oh shit, okay, cool. How's it going, Max? Like, let's talk, type of deal. But it depends on that company culture where it's gonna be like, no, Max, you're a warehouse manager. I want you to just focus on doing the best you can in the warehouse. And then you're like, okay, then like, okay, great. That I know, kind of my limitations here.
And it's funny because if you think about like how I am, which is, why do I have stupid ways of thinking, but why do I not put out more content? Do I hate making content? No, it's not that I just hate to fail, and I'm not good at it yet because I haven't put in the reps, and therefore I don't do it. Well, why? What's stopping me from writing that email to that guy? The fear of rejection. And in this case, it's like I want the dream, and I know as soon as I send that email, it's either just going to stop and I won't get a response, or I will get a response and it'll be like, yeah, it's not the right time.
But that's okay. It gives you,
I know it's okay.
It gives you the direction and the next steps.
Yeah.
Like, I've been in the corporate world long enough. I was in many executive roles before I went into what I'm doing now. And that's why I understand this. And it's like, hey, the best thing is to just, hey, ask. And then now you know the direction. It's either to the left or to the right. But the undetermined is, you spend so much time dwelling over uncertainty. It's just not worth it. Absolutely not worth it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because my supervisor, I was talking to him like about some of the things I was thinking about, and he's like, every time you talk about this, you just light up. You just light up. You
That's
obviously
where your interests are.
Yeah.
You like to look at efficiencies. You like to look at automation. And in today's world, there's value there. You just have to speak that lingo. When you speak to upper management and you talk about automations and finding avenues to cut down on labor cost and finding this and finding that, and then they're like, oh, I mean, you just got to use those buzzy words in your email.
I know there's one report we have to like run 3 other reports, then put those 3 other reports in this report, and then it has to run on a laptop, and the Excel like chugs for like literally like 5 minutes. It literally takes, if you're doing it quick, you can do it in 10 minutes, but for most people it takes 15 minutes every day. If I could save 15 minutes for 30 to 50 warehouse managers or whoever's doing it that particular day for that particular warehouse, that's valuable. It's 15 times
talk
15
talk
minutes
labor cost. You talk labor cost. You talk numbers.
And the funny thing is, the calculation is for direct labor cost per pallet. That's what we're figuring out.
Trust me, you play the game. You play the game 100%. Trust me, I am so thankful to not be in that world anymore of playing the corporate world, because dude, I get it 100%, 100%. So I definitely feel you for sure.
Yeah, that's Goat's here. He's under Geeks Jeeps, but yeah, actually it's funny because Goat had,
I couldn't tell.
No, I'm sure. I just happened to see him pop up. I hadn't seen him until now. He really got me thinking from my last stream about, he's like, why are you continuing to do that job, which is taking 60 to 70 hours a week? He's like, wouldn't you be better off taking a lower paying job
I saw this
you
conversation.
care about, that you care about, and you're only working 40 hours a week.
It's the leap. It's the leap. Is all it comes down to. It's actually making that move. You know, I get it. 100. It's the uncertainty. It's the I don't know what's next. I don't know where the pay comes from. Trust me, I get it. 100%.
Right, I know you do.
Like, dude, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. I mean, I took the leap from where I was to, now I pay. I'm fully self-insured, self-employed. Like, I totally get it. It's tough. It's tough to do that later on when you're pre-established, right? It's not like you're in your 20s, you're not married, you have no kids, you're in great health. It's like, no. It's on the opposite side of things,
Yeah, and that's for me especially. Like I said, bad hip. Neck's actually just went completely out of whack this week. I'm still trying to get it back into place. But yeah, when you start getting health issues and you're like, oh, I'll just make a job change. It's not quite that easy because now
well, like Panda says, you need a safety net. The challenge, well, for you, it's like you're not looking to be all like entirely self-employed. You're looking to change career paths. Right. You're still going to be, in a career, most likely finding a job that has health insurance, things like that, which is fine. You're just looking to, there's never a good time to make a career change. Never. There's never a good time. It doesn't matter how much money you think you want to put aside, because in today's economy, you're not stashing away cash left and right. That's just not how it's working. So it's like, okay, you change careers, and when's the best time? Well, guess what? Yesterday, a week before, a year before, like, and every day you wait is just another day. So no, I totally get it. And it's definitely tough for sure. But it's gotta. All right, January 1st, we're changing jobs.
Yeah, done. That's actually right now. The beginning part of next year is when I'm really want to be making some type of change.
Work on it now and aim for a January 1st.
That's what I'm saying is that, and the thing is you know what? If the company starts seeing value in what I'm doing and that's the direction I go, I stay with the company I'm with. I don't dislike the company. I just don't
send the email. Yeah. Send the email that literally says, I don't plan to be a warehouse manager for the rest of my life. I'm pursuing these skill sets. I'd like to work on this stuff on the side. I'd love to help with automations and save money, blah, blah, blah. And they may come, any smart executive that reads that would go, okay, here's a guy with potential. Let's move him into a different role in the company. Or they'll go, no. We need you to focus on the warehouse. And guess what? Now you know what direction to go. Right. Literally, you solve your entire dilemma in like 1 week. One week. Then you're like, great. I mean, literally, if I was to read an email from someone that was like, I don't plan to be a warehouse manager the rest of my life, you'd be like, literally make that your subject. I'm not kidding you. I don't plan to be a warehouse manager the rest of my life. That person will read that in 2 seconds. Like, oh, what is going on here? This is great. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm cut from a different cloth, but it definitely.
You're talking like a YouTuber. That's your hook, Max. That's your hook.
Listen, you know what? For all the crappy emails I get, that would be a great one. Or, I mean, I just think there's lots of potential there. I definitely recommend that you take it. And now's the time. Now is the time. We're approaching that Q4 time period. Now's a great time. They can add that into their budgets that they're planning for. It's a great opportunity.
I agree. Get in line running.
I like retro mics, but if you leave the warehouse, who's going to swipe the free snacks for me? That's the best one.
Oh my God. It was in the news, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, we had 2 truckloads stolen. This was months ago. We had 2 truckloads.
Were they Feastables, chocolate bars, Mr. Beast company?
They were pet food.
Oh, woo! Hey, pet food's freaking expensive. I get it, 100%.
It was. The good thing
we have a puppy.
This is actually really funny. So where do you think they're putting that up for sale? It's not rocket.
Oh, the pet food?
Yeah, I mean, if you stole 2 truckloads of pet food,
eBay,
you're not
Amazon,
selling it to grocery stores. Where do you think you're putting it up?
eBay, probably. I would think, right?
No, because it's all local. It's gonna be offer
Facebook.
up.
Oh, Facebook.
Or Facebook. There you go. I looked both places.
Yep.
And they had it both places, but offer up was where their main one was. And so I looked it up.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's our product right there.
Yep.
All right there.
Business just writes it off.
Up in Vernie, actually. And so I pointed this out to the cops. to the officer, the investigative officer.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And he's like, "Oh, good catch." So yeah, they didn't arrest anybody because the guy was, had plausible deniability type of thing. Yeah, he had been arrested before. It was they just didn't have enough on him because of it. But anyway, they were able to recover like 90% of ours and a bunch of other stuff as well that was also stolen. But yeah, I didn't like get credit for it in the news or anything, but yeah, they did.
The warehouse manager cracked the case.
The officer did tell me, he's like, yeah, if you hadn't have said that, we would not have known. And I was just like, are you serious? Are you serious? This is basic.
People stay in their lanes so much in their jobs. Like, yeah, I get it. 100%.
Makes me crazy. So anyway, but yeah. But no, yeah, I don't want to be.
Well, I'm gonna peace out here. I got work to do still tonight. But
I appreciate you joining me.
I do appreciate it. Yep. It would have been even better if Red Panda Mining joined in the channel and joined in on this live stream. But we know how that is.
We don't need him.
Yeah, we don't need his kind here. All right. We don't
him.
serve your kind here. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Max. Thanks, brother. Have a good night. See ya.
All right. See you
Bye.
too. No, Goat. We do not restock that, but it can be donated. So we're currently working on that, but yeah. Red Panda will never join the same stream as you ever. Who are you kidding? You're not going to join anybody's stream. You will never join anybody's stream, because if you do, you will catch so much shit from everybody else. Everybody else will be like, why not me? Why not me? Why not me? I'd be first in line. Anyway. All righty. I think I've been on for 2 hours. That's kind of my limit, but I definitely appreciate hobbyist GTFO. Yeah, I'm pretty much at my limit. I'm starting to get tired. Old guy getting tired. Oh, you know what? I do have some mugs on the way. I don't know if you guys have he goes by the Dad Bod Veteran, and he's some upper 40-year-old guy who thinks he's old. He ain't old. I'm old. He's not old. Anyway, but he's Generation X, and he's got some really, really funny mugs. And he has a lot of funny things he talks about. But yeah, he talks about basically how, once you get to a certain age, you just don't give a fuck what other people think. You just don't. Anyway. All right. What are you guys talking about in the chat? Active Directory? What are you guys talking about? Yo says, RPM will join me one day. I'm saving that favor to make it count. See, that's why he sends out free shit to people that he likes, because that way he knows, well, I don't have a favor. I don't have a favor to repay, because I make sure I don't have favors to repay. But I know he's gonna repay you in some other way, Goat, for that, that broken ASIC that he sent you on purpose. Can't even believe he did that. Cannot even believe he did that. I mean, come on. The capacitor was sitting right there when you open it. It wasn't even in the same compartment. He's like, man, this thing broke off. I'm just going to shove it under here and then turn this screw. That's what he was doing. Talk about the good old times. Yeah. How was the concert, Goat? I'm guessing you're on your way home from the concert. Hopefully the wife is driving and you're not typing all this on the way home. Oh, it was free. So, Yeah, we were actually talking about going to the Schaumburg Boomers game tonight because they are in the Frontier Cup. Frontier Cup is like, it's a minor league team or minor league division that isn't associated with any major league teams. It's just kind of, they play for fun and they play for small, you know, small number of fans, but they're in the championship. They were up 2-1 before tonight. And I don't yet know if they won, but if they won tonight, then the series is over. Otherwise it'd be tied 2-2. And I believe tomorrow would be the final game. So if they lose tonight, we may go to the game tomorrow, possibly. Today was rainy, so we didn't want to go. We were waiting until later, but I probably will be switching to Saturday nights. I like the idea of having Sunday just to chill out. Saturday is a day to kind of re-energize and plan things. And today I actually did something, like I said, that heat pump break even not workbook, but form that does calculations. Yeah, I really enjoyed making that. Definitely enjoyed making that. Don't know what the code was, don't have a clue, doesn't matter. Can I create something just using ChatGPT? The next one I'll probably try to use Claude. I've heard Claude is a little better when it comes to coding. But I also was using GPT-5, and I think GPT-5 is not the right one to use for coding, if I remember correctly. Let me take a look. Legacy modes. Gonna tell me? All right, now I got to figure out how to get back to GPT-5. There it goes. It went back. Anyway, I think one of the modes is a little bit better at coding than others. I know GPT-5 is like, that's the one is like super nice, like sugary nice. It's so nice. It's too nice. You can't even be mean to it. I've tried being mean to it and it doesn't. Oh, you're right. Especially when it's wrong, I get angry. Oh yeah, sorry, you're right. Because it still does hallucinate now and then. Especially with some of the, like I said, I was having problems with the coding. It was just doing it wrong. It was just doing it plain wrong. And then I think it lost track of where it was. Like it somehow didn't, because it was operating really slow. So I think it just had too much context that it was operating super, super slow. So that's when I'm like, okay, let's back up. Let's back up. So anyway, but I did enjoy doing that. I'm hoping to do more of that. Like I said, I want to develop like a little portfolio of work I've accomplished, doing that over the next like 3 to 4 months. So one of the things I've learned is that when you're trying to get a job, especially if you're going to do maybe data analytics or AI or something like that, you want to have a portfolio showing them the work that you are capable of accomplishing. So yeah. Anyway, alrighty guys. Well, I appreciate you guys all being here tonight. I know it's not my normal night, but it will become my normal night. So appreciate you all. And as always, no tabs were harmed in the making of this video. Have a good one, everybody.